Welcome everybody at LPT Realty, and welcome to today's topic, which is direct mail, theory and practice. And I'm going to film this in two parts, so make sure you get part two as well. This is all based on Robert Palmer's book about his direct mail secrets, and we're going to share them with you now. The number one thing that agents don't understand is that you must become your own brand. When you decide to become a real estate agent, you also have to figure out how to market yourself. A lot of times what I see is that agents don't have a message that matches with the audience that they're trying to reach. That they really don't have a niche. They don't necessarily know a hook to get the message across to the buyer or the seller. In addition, most of you don't come from a marketing background or an arts background like I come from. And so you don't really know a design philosophy. And that's why it really is important that you utilize the tools that we have for our direct mail marketing that's already made for you by our team. We're going to also talk about how frustrating it can be about direct mail in terms of the fact that you just don't know, is it working? Because it's unlike social media where you pay for an ad, you can see on your ads manager page how many people have actually clicked on it. And so we're going to talk about workarounds. Been to other workshops with other agents and marketeers who say that direct mail is dead. It is not. It's still a very powerful way to get your word out to the consumer. We're going to show you today that this is actually the better way to build relationships, especially with sellers. And on top of it, I'm going to tell you, I confess, I was doing it all wrong. After I read this book, I realized, yeah, that's why my mailers weren't hitting. See, there are benefits to direct mail. I don't know about you, but I want a business that I can sell when I retire. And if so, you've got to have a really good database. That's what serious, well-to-do, long-term real estate agents who have been in the business a long time, they can actually sell their body of business. And that is going to be driven by direct mail marketing. It's what brands you, and it's what makes you the local area expert celebrity in town. And the truth is that you can't just rely on cold calling to market yourself. I've worked for other real estate companies that they're saying, that's how you're going to launch your business. The truth is most of you don't even want to do it anyway. And as an agent, what we have to learn to do is to target and tailor our message and hit those people over and over and over through repetitive direct mail marketing to help grow the brand. Because bottom line, people buy people. And that's why you gotta update your headshot. That's why you gotta get your name out there. Because the truth is that you want to always have your face connected to your marketing. Because, look, as human beings, we are programmed to recognize faces. It's a survival instinct. Our entire parts of our brains are dedicated to it, okay? You had to be able to recognize your mother's face from the moment you were born. And that's why you have to put your face on marketing, because you are building the brand of who? You. So why do agents don't do direct mail marketing, or they do it not so well? Well, the number one thing is because unlike those social media ads that you pay for, you don't get any feedback right away. So you just see yourself writing the check for the marketing and going, is it even working? You also don't wait long enough for it to hit. And I am just as guilty. I remember one time ordering direct mail marketing, wasn't hitting. I did it for 2 months. And then I called and canceled the order. And then they mailed me the box of postcards, which 6 months later I would throw out in the garbage because I also left that real estate company. The truth is you're not really sure if the messaging is being heard. And the truth is it's a long-term game. It could take 12 to 15 direct mail touches before that message sinks in. Most of you don't target the right audience. You just mail it to everyone and hope somewhere it will stick. How are you going to reach your target? Stop those wasted mailers, like mailing a card to somebody who just bought last week. You've got to take control of your mailing lists. You can't just use some generic mailing list. You want to use a program like Remind, where you can put layers on top of the map and say, okay, I want to find people who've been living in their house for at least 10 years with positive equity. You are a brand. As with any brand, like a brand we all well know, like Coca-Cola, you've got to establish that brand authority. I don't want to be an average agent. I want to be an expert. And I want to show them through my marketing that I'm an expert on how people's lives are and that I can solve problems for them. Like, how are they going to move to Florida? How are they going to sell a house in Florida? And the truth is that most people don't know how to reach their goals. Less than 8% of people even write goals down. You need to become the local area expert that they want to connect with as they get on this crazy journey of home ownership here. What do you need to do? Well, you got to start working your sphere. Direct mail is another way to stay in touch with your sphere besides making phone calls or connecting them on social media. Your past clients need to see that you're still out there and that you are doing marketing. Your friends need to see your direct mail marketing pieces so they can see how you stand out, as well as educating your family members of what you're doing. This helps your friends and family show them that you have something called brand authority, that you are a legitimate business and should be taken seriously. Let's talk a little bit about some direct mail basics, okay? The number one thing is, are you targeting correctly? Look, it doesn't make any sense for me to say, let me tell you how much your home is worth and mail that postcard to an apartment complex. The other thing is size does matter in regards to your direct mail piece. Those jumbo size postcards have more of an impact than the standard little mini ones that you used to mail on vacation. If it's a letter size, it goes in a letter envelope that people will open. I also have been known to use colored envelopes to get people's attention. So you might want to do like a dark blue envelope as an example. So an example of an official marketing piece is like what I'm holding here. Doesn't this look like I've got a check coming to me? Yeah, that's what we're talking about, making somebody open that. Okay, so here's an example of what we used to call the airmail postcard. Too small. You gotta go with the jumbo size. It needs to have a short and sweet call to action piece. All right, so an example might be, and I'm going to read this off of one of my cards. Did you know that you can sell your house for up to $10,000 more than the current value? Go to my website and I'll show you how. That's what we're talking about. Focus on who you're attracting. I've made the mistake of trying to attract two different types. I put a call to action thing for buyers on the same piece that I did a call to action things to sellers. It didn't land. Please don't send out a mailer that, tells me everything about what you've been doing since you were in the first grade. People don't read. Less is more. And you should also try testing your message. Sneaking your message to look like real mail might work. Others will respond to the postcard. No matter what, it's got to have your face somewhere. So even if you decide to make it look like it's a check, put your face on the inside. Expired and withdrawals. Are these people that you want to go after? As of today's filming, there's not a heck of a lot of expired listings out there. And the truth is they do sound like a great market to go after. The problem is everybody targets them and they get really, really angry. They need a completely different type of mailer. They need what's known as a pre-listing package that looks like a FedEx envelope, something official that forces them to open it. And I have another class called Pre-Listing and Listing Presentations where I talk about exactly what should go in that mailer that you're going to give them. The other mistake we make is we don't build our own mailing lists. It makes no sense for me to mail 300 marketing pieces to the entire neighborhood. My goal is not to go and buy lists from a third-party company, but to create my own. I've got to work to create my own targeted list to get that message to the right people. And I don't know about you, but I sure as heck would like a business that runs itself. And at the same time, I'm going to tell you, you have to pay your dues. My husband started his own company over 20 years ago, and he's at the point now where honestly, he's not needed all that much. But the truth is that most of us can't get there from here because we don't have a spare $1 million to do the advertising. He built his business up over time. I built my business up over time by going out and prospecting, finding people that wanted to buy and sell investment real estate and who wanted to hire me as a real estate inspector. That also means that you've got to master telemarketing, door knocking. You've got to do all these things to build your lists. I know it's going to be hard right now, but think of where you'll be if you take all these actions now, 5 years from now. And that means you have to get uncomfortable. As hockey player Wayne Gretzky says, you will miss 100% of all the shots you didn't take. And here's another quote from another guru, Tony Robbins. There's always room in your life for thinking bigger, pushing limits. Imagine the unimaginable. I never thought that I could grow a big business. I never thought that my husband and I could grow a big business together, and we have. Here's where it happens. When you think small, that's what you're going to get, small actions. And agents hit their wall of achievement because they just think, oh, there's so many fish in the sea that are competing against me. If I do 10 transactions this year, I think, oh, that's great. You cannot do massive marketing and remain a solo agent. You've got to think about the future of growing a team, because I'll tell you, that's what happens. You're spinning so many plates and trying to handle all this stuff, and then you miss an important deadline and your reputation gets ruined. So how do we move from point A to point B? Well, you got to get real. How many calls can you make in your time that you make your calls? How many networking events can you attend? How many connections can you build? The truth is those are time-limited activities. To think bigger, I want you to think about how many TV commercials can I run? How many internet ads? How many direct mail pieces? You can only go there if you decide to grow yourself mentally and by reinvesting your money into your marketing. Stop thinking so small. Adopt big marketing tactics. You'll have a big business. One of the challenges that my husband had in his business is that he had a website that he kind of threw together, and it really looked like somebody had just an amateur had thrown together. And the truth is that he needed to hire a marketing person years ago to get him off the ground. By doing this, you're creating generational wealth. And you are going to have a real estate business that has value, and you will be able to sell it to somebody else in town. This is going to create money for you even when you're not physically in the office. So let's share with you Robert's number one marketing secret. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Look, people need to see you everywhere, whether it's the billboard on I-4, park bench, the direct mail piece, social media, radio. It gets it out there in various ways. You also just can't do one call to action mailer and expect that it's going to instantly work. People have to receive your mailers month after month. And what you don't realize is every time that thing is landed in their mailbox, you're sparking a conversation. That kitchen table conversation about, well, maybe we should be listing this house. And the truth is they have to see you multiple times before they develop mentally a trust factor with you. And the truth is you think, it can't be working because you don't get that feedback. And of course you think, well, the internet, that's better than direct mail. Oh, I got 100 leads supposedly off an ad. Here's what you have to realize. Numbers don't lie. Do they convert? I would rather have quality versus quantity. And many times the internet lead is what I call the Disney vacationer lead. We're on vacation and they think, what would it be like to have a condo in Orlando? Look, I don't know about you, but I like it when my phone rings and I'm getting incoming business. And that's what direct mail does for you. These leads have a much higher conversion rate. Why? Because you created a call to action. Find out how you can sell your home for $10,000 more. Go to my website and register, and I'll tell you how. They did that. That's a motivated individual with correct contact information, or as Robert calls Mickey's. The other way that you create repetition is by repeating your story over and over again. And your mailer needs to be the same to create that repetition. It's always got to have your face on it. And it reminds them who you are and how you can help them. I know this is hard, but please don't give up. You have no idea that a mailer that you sent week 1 is now hitting at the 6-month mailing mark and they're about to call you. You have no idea that they actually stored your cards in an envelope or they pinned it to the side of the fridge for when they want to list in the spring. It takes time to build your brand. You've got to continue to fight and stay in front of these people. But marketing is not instant pudding. Your brand just doesn't appear overnight. You also can't build credibility instantly either, nor brand authority. You want a business that is going to eventually be something you could actually sell to another agent. You got to put in the hard work now to create your business. If you're looking for where to spend your marketing dollars on direct mail, the first thing you want to do is go into your MLS and look for a neighborhood to farm that has about an 8% turnover. We have 4 quarters per year, means that 2% of that 8% are thinking about selling at any given time. Now, not all of those 2% will respond. You just have to keep reaching out with the numbers and stick with it. Focus on those selling in the next 20 months. This gives you a year to brand yourself, but understand you may still miss the mark on some, because perhaps you just sent out the mailer to somebody that just decided that they were planning on listing this weekend. They've already found that agent. But if I've been seeing your mailer over the last 7 months and I've decided on listing this spring, I think I'm going to consider you very strongly. Robert says nobody has said they tried direct mail for 10 to 15 times and it failed. Most say they tried it once and they didn't get anything out of it. People are slow. You don't know. You sent the mailer, but at that time they weren't ready. We will never know what the trigger factor is. Maybe the HOA called them up and said something nasty to them. If you're the agent that's been mailing them consistently, who do you think they're going to call in that moment? Repetition creates business. Stick with it to win it. And if you have any questions, please contact me at penny.donald@lpt.com. And I want to see you in the next video where I reveal more of Robert's direct mail marketing secrets. Stay tuned.